This car scared Ferraris, not because it was elegant, not because it was refined, but because it was honest, brutal, and unapologetically American. And in the 1960s, when Europe dominated the idea of performance with precision, balance, and racing heritage, America made a different decision. It decided that power didn't need permission, it didn't need approval, and it definitely didn't need refinement. It only needed confidence, and that confidence arrived in 1967 in the form of the Shelby GT500, a car that wasn't designed to win beauty contests or impress critics, but to dominate straight roads, empty highways, and stoplights across the country, because at that time America was changing, highways were expanding, youth culture was exploding, and speed had become freedom. And Ford understood that the Mustang alone was no longer enough. They needed something louder, something angrier, something that could stand up to the world and say, "We're done copying Europe." So they turned to one man who didn't believe in compromise, Carroll Shelby, a racer who understood fear, speed, and limits. And Shelby didn't see the Mustang as a sports car. He saw it as raw material, something that could be stripped, hardened, and rebuilt into a weapon. So comfort was removed, softness was ignored, and what replaced it was muscle, torque, and attitude. And under the hood of the GT500 sat a massive V8 that didn't whisper, it roared, delivering brutal power to the rear wheels, transforming simple acceleration into an event, a physical experience that pushed drivers back into their seats and made the car feel alive. Because this wasn't a machine designed to assist you, it demanded respect, it demanded skill, and it punished hesitation. And on straight roads, the GT500 became something almost mythical, a car that didn't care about corners or finesse. It cared about domination, about raw forward motion. And in an era where traffic lights became unofficial drag strips, the Shelby GT500 was the car everyone feared pulling up next to, because losing to it wasn't just a loss, it was humiliation. And that fear traveled fast, across states, across car culture, across oceans, because while Europe was building machines for tracks and winding roads, America was building machines for freedom, and the GT500 became the physical representation of that philosophy. Loud exhausts, aggressive styling, long hood, short deck, everything about it communicated intent, and that intent was simple: power first, questions later. But power always comes with consequences, and as the muscle car era grew, so did concerns. Insurance companies began to panic. Accident statistics climbed, fuel prices started rising, and governments responded the only way they knew how, with regulations, new safety laws, emissions rules, and restrictions that slowly choked the very spirit that created cars like the GT500. And one by one, the legends began to disappear. Names that once ruled the streets faded into history, production numbers dropped, engines shrank, and the golden era of American muscle quietly ended. But something interesting happened during that decline. The cars that survived didn't become forgotten, they became legends. And the Shelby GT500 didn't fade. It transformed into a symbol, a reminder of a time when cars were built with emotion instead of algorithms, when risk was accepted, when driving required courage. And today, decades later, the GT500 isn't judged by fuel efficiency or practicality. It's judged by what it represents, and collectors understand this, which is why a clean 1967 Shelby GT500 can sell for over $200,000, not because it's fast by modern standards, not because it's comfortable, but because it carries history, rebellion, and identity. It represents a moment when America stopped asking how Europe did it and started doing it its own way. And when you look at the GT500 today, you're not just seeing metal, rubber, and horsepower, you're seeing an attitude that refuses to bow. A machine that challenged the world without apology, because America didn't just race Europe, it challenged it. And the Shelby GT500 was the message, loud, clear, and impossible to ignore.